Hi everyone, and welcome to the first ever The Blood of Dawnwalker live stream, our game reveal event. My name is Dominika, I'm the community and social media lead here at Rebel Wolves, and I am joined today by my friend Matt, a content creator, streamer, and a long-time RPG fan, also known as Lionheart.
Thank you so much, Dominika. It is an absolute pleasure to be here live in the Rebel Wolves studio. The game's actually being made here, right?
Yes, we have 120 super talented people working on the game, and many of them are actually watching us right now, live from our company watch party. So huge shout out to you guys.
Hey, you can't blame them for being excited. I mean, this is a massive, massive night for the Rebel Wolves
team. I can't
team.
blame the devs for being excited about the reveal.
Under a full wolf
No,
moon.
I would never.
I mean, it's the perfect time for this reveal.
Yes, and we're so excited to see all of you guys and gals joining us on Twitch. We know time zones are tricky, so a special thank you to those of you who had to get up early or those staying up late just to be here. We really appreciate that.
Yes, and a very warm welcome as well to all of the streamers
That's a great
who decided
tuxedo.
to co-stream this event live to their own communities. I can't wait to see all of your reactions later on.
Definitely. Now, many of you have been asking us about what's been going on behind our doors, and we have great news. The wait is
this an
finally
indie game?
over, and we are
No.
ready to unveil what we have been cooking up for the past
This is
2
not an
years.
indie game.
Yes, that's right. There are so
This is
many
AA, maybe
exciting
bordering
announcements to
AAA.
come
I don't know about
through
its
the rest
funding.
of this event, so I really hope you're comfortable. Now, Dominika, I think we should probably start at the very beginning.
120 people is a
What
lot
the
of
Blood
people.
Dawnwalker?
Yeah.
The Blood of Dawnwalker is the
It is a new
first
studio,
chapter
but
of a brand
lot
new
of
role-playing
experience.
saga. It's a dark fantasy,
shut up.
narrative-driven, epic adventure set in medieval Europe with a supernatural twist. Our aim for this game
I like
is
how they
to
just
create
described
a
Witcher.
truly unique experience for you guys. A game that we have been dreaming about.
That sounds like my kind of game, I'm going to be honest. There are so many things to come tonight, and I know everyone here is really excited to share this all for the very first time. But for everyone at home, you're probably wondering, well, what does that mean for us? Well, you're going to hear more about the world, more about the lore, and for the very first time, you're going to see the full CGI trailer for the game as well. But it's not just any trailer, right?
It's not just some random trailer. It is actually the game's opening, setting up the stage for the whole game.
Oh.
It shows this one moment in history when the world changes forever.
Wow. I can't wait to see how well the community does, poring over every second of this trailer. In the reveal campaign so far, they've been incredible.
Oh, yes. Tell me about it. Discord, you guys are mind-blowing.
The Discord have been incredible, but soon we're going to throw it over to a bunch of the devs, and you're going to dive further into the world of Dawnwalker. You're going to learn more about the characters.
They did say there would be a small teaser of gameplay.
Then we're going to weave in a few songs as well that should really help set the mood for the game itself. I've been listening to them non-stop, and they are incredible, right? Lastly, make sure you stick around all the way through, because we also have a very brief but very real gameplay teaser as well.
Yes, and it is an actual look at the state of the game.
Very real.
As it is
That's
right now, straight from
That's
the
a good
engine.
adjective.
And in the
It's
meantime,
not
we will
fake,
be checking
it's
out
very
on your
real.
comments, so make sure to drop
Very
all your
real.
thoughts or your impressions in the chat. My teammates, MJ and Mati, are already there with you, and we'll respond whenever we can. And this is it for now.
God, was that it? No, it couldn't have been.
Let's get into the mood with some music, and let's hear from our game director, Konrad Tomaszkiewicz.
I have to admit, there was a small
and our
part of me that was like,
narrative director,
did they just
Jakub
jab
Szmałek,
Cyberpunk?
who will
No,
tell you
I don't
about
think they did.
how it all began.
That's right, friends. The time has finally come. Sit back, relax, and get ready to experience the world created by Rebel Wolves.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Please be awesome. Another real concern of mine is I don't want this to just be another Witcher. I love Witcher. I do. But like, I want to see what these guys are going to separate. I want to see how they're going to separate themselves, you know? I want to see how it's going to be unique. this music is amazing. Dude. Wait a second. Wait. Hold on a second. I think I've been had. It all looks so real, chat. What's going on? Why is that woman playing a basketball? What's going on here? This music is awesome. Jeez. The composer of this is the guy who made the Witcher 3 soundtrack? You don't say. Yeah. I can hear it. This CGI is amazing. I'm like a solid 98% sure this isn't CGI. I think. I'm pretty sure. I think.
I decided to open the Rebels company because I felt that there
Bro, they
is
used a drone for this. I love it.
Space for innovation and for evolution in the open world RPGs. And to achieve that, you need to have independence and artistic freedom. And sometimes you need to make hard and risky decisions. And the best way to do that is to open your own company and make your own choices. Do you remember the second Fallout from '98?
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite games ever, and I was so excited when you used that as a point of reference because for some time now I've been able to return to the promise and the value of old school computer RPGs, and to combine it with modern graphics, with bleeding edge tech, with a dynamic, fast-paced combat, merge these two together and see what comes out.
Exactly, and of course,
Bro just pinged one of my favorite games.
Post-apocalyptic game, but what was really interesting in the second Fallout is the freedom. You could do there whatever you want. You exit the vault, you have the clear goal in front of you. You don't have main quest which telling you, okay, right now do that, next do that. You just shape your own main story, and you build your own experience. And this is like the total freedom in the games.
Yeah, and as a writer, this is something that excites me about the games the most. The choices, the freedom, non-linearities, and I think this is something that's truly unique to video games. Like, you can't emulate that in any other medium. So I'm so glad that we're making a game that sets out to explore that space and see what new is to be done there. So that's great.
Also, if you will add to that the sense of urgency, the time, which actually is not really explored in the video games, and day and night loop, it would be really interesting because it will make the game different.
Yeah, no, I get that because the sense of urgency is so important in the context of open world RPGs where players can become distracted and kind of get away from the main story. So finding a way to make sure that they remain invested, that they remain at the edge of their seats is so important. And I think it's
as long as we're not talking about time limits and missing content because we're side questing.
The hero,
I don't know if I really like that.
To have the different loop at the day and different loop at the night, it makes the game really unique.
They're saying a lot of interesting things, but honestly, like, interesting enough, I play sandbox games so I don't have to do the main story, so I don't feel like I'm like, need to go do something. That's one of the reasons I like sandbox games. So I'm curious where they're going with that. Like, that's interesting. Yeah, they may not mean what I'm thinking they mean, but I'm like, again, I'm curious to see what they mean by it. Because I don't think it's what I'm thinking. I'm going to shut up for this. Graphics still look great.
It must be here somewhere.
We hunt vampires.
It's all right. Lunka! Don't hurt her! You gave us quite the chase, young. Please, sir. She's just a child! Ah, Roderick, remind me. Did I make an exception for children?
No, sire.
No. That would have been foolish, would it not? They spread the plague just as well as adults. And there's only one way to stamp out this sickness. No! Not just a runner, but a fighter, too. Had we met under a different moon, things might have ended there.
Dude, they are leaning into like the vampire superpower thing. Oh, we are like little pansy. Okay. All right. There were some cool powers there, it looks like.
Lunka.
Oh.
My sister. She needs help. Fast. Please, let us pass through. I beg of you. Please. Please.
Oh.
I don't know. How?
I am life. I am death. I am everything in between. I have been watching your little valley. Pestilence, famine, killing. Blood spilled carelessly, like water. Things will be different now. For all of you.
I'm so confused. Is he a good guy? What? Wait. I'm so confused. Is he here to save the people? Kinda. Dude, that's like
So the game takes place 2 years after the events shown in the intro, and this is just the beginning of a greater saga we were planning. So we get to meet the character at the beginning of the
assuming
adventure.
we play a
which I think is
vampire,
really cool.
so...
And Cohen in general is so much fun to
Are we
write and
fighting
flesh out
vampires?
because he's
Maybe.
not your typical game protagonist. He's not a grizzled veteran who's seen it all, who is cynical about the world, who comments the world with like one-liners. He's a young guy who, at heart, is emotional. He can get vulnerable. He's honest about how he feels.
What I love in Cohen is that he'll be never a superhero. He'll be never overpowered. At the day, as a human, he can fight with a sword. He can use and discover dark magic, but he can be
Oh,
killed
no,
by
guys.
anyone.
They called me and wanted to use the name Cohh, but I
he
said
can
I already had a
counter lot
copyright, so
more
they went with
difficult
Cohen.
enemies. He can use some vampiric abilities, not only in combat, but also
Good looking out,
he can use
Rebels.
it to
Thanks,
explore
guys.
the world and to see the world in a totally different way.
Yeah, and he'll need all these cool superpowers
That definitely
because
happened.
he's facing formidable enemies. This clique of vampires who decided to take over the world, turn it upside down, and set the rules. And they are led by this super old and immensely powerful vampire called Brensis.
Brensis.
Our game is set in 14th century Europe, and it's a world in deep crisis. First, the continent has been ravaged by the plague, then wars, and now famine. And all the while, vampires have been watching from the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And finally, when humanity is at its lowest, they come out of the shadows, they overthrow the feudal lords, and they move into their castles.
Oh, so they just take over. Okay.
Vampires ruling the world is not necessarily the bad thing. Feudal lords in that time killed the whole villages to prevent, the plague. And the vampires, they defend Cohen and his sister. They even healed Lunka. And, I know that people need to pay taxes in blood, but it's not a huge cost of safe and good life.
Well, to that I'd say that vampires' favors are uncertain. And sure, they protect the people of the valley where the game takes place, but they see them as cattle, so they protect them to then lead them.
To be fair, we are cattle. Like that,
And the blood tax you mentioned, it's taken from everyone, the frail, the weak, the old. Each week they have to convene at the church for a blood mass. So for some people, that's deeply traumatizing or might even end up in them dying. So in the end, I'd say the balance is more or less equal. And that's something that I actually really like about our setting, this world, that nothing is simple. Nothing is just black or just white. And you have to decide for yourself, like, what do I think is the right choice? What is the path I want to take? And what is the path I want to avoid? And ultimately, Cohen's family ends up in the dungeons of the Vampire Lord. And even as Cohen is trying to free them, he will meet people who still support the regime.
It's even more challenging for players because Cohen has only 30 days and 30 nights to save his family. In most games, sandbox means gameplay freedom. In our, it means narrative freedom. We don't think about the quest like the main quest or the side quest. We just have quests. Players will craft their experience through the game by themselves, and nobody will have the same. And we call it narrative sandbox.
Yeah, that's something that really excites me because that means that no two playthroughs will be identical. That each player will have a unique experience. And that's the true magic of video games, and that's why I love making them.
Welcome back, everybody, and I hope you agree that that was worth the wait. Now, the best news is that we are just getting started tonight. And first things first, Dominika, that trailer.
I know, right? And for our Polish community out there, good news.
I wish I could
will
pause
be
this because I have
dropping
some
the
big things to
Polish
say about
version
what we
of
just
the
heard.
trailer with Polish dubbing on our social media channels right after the stream. So keep an eye on them.
I think a lot of people are going to want to rewatch that trailer, so I bet that they're really, really happy. But we've got a lot to unpack here, right? So you mentioned before that the trailer actually serves as the intro to the game.
Yeah.
So everything that we all just saw, that happens before the game starts?
Yeah, so the cinematic that takes place 2 years before the events from the game. So 2 years before Cohen, our main protagonist, becomes a Dawnwalker. Okay. So you can see that in the CGI, he's still very young, he's very, inexperienced. You see that innocence in him, right? But that will need to change. The world
yeah,
is going to
we're not going to talk about the fact that Fallout 1
had
the time limit on the water ship.
You'll need to mature a bit. So you will see that in the other game assets, he looks a bit differently.
Maybe a little bit
different.
different.
I wonder why he looked so much younger. Clearly, Cohh has had a rough couple of years. I can't wait to work out what happened in between. I think it's going to be pretty exciting. Now, but we didn't just meet Cohh, right? We met his younger sister, Lunka, as well. But in the video we just saw, Conrad mentioned that she was healed. So does that mean she wasn't turned into a vampire then?
No. Lunka was indeed healed from the plague, the Black Death, by Brancis, this old vampire, leader of the vampire clique. And turning humans into vampires works a bit differently in our game. But we actually have another duo of devs who are going to talk about it in a moment.
Okay.
Well, then I won't steal their thunder. I'll let them explain.
Thank you, Moshigosu.
I guess what I should ask is, who or what is a Dawnwalker then?
This is such a loaded question. So many layers to it, honestly. Okay, but so the basic premise is like this. Dawnwalkers look like humans during the day, but they turn into vampires after dusk. But they're not actually humans, and they're not actually vampires. They are something in between.
Okay, very mysterious. I love it. Now, Dawnwalker itself, it's a brand new IP, right?
Yeah, it is. It is completely original. And I think this is what actually makes this project really special for us, because it's a handcrafted universe, of course, rooted in real history, inspired by some myths and legends, but essentially built by our team from the ground up.
From a gamer perspective, again, knowing that you guys have full control, that you've got a vision for how this is going to be, and that you can actually implement that, it's just so exciting.
It's so exciting for us as well.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Now, I could talk about this all day, but we should move on and talk about the art of Dawnwalker, the world and its inhabitants.
I would love to see the gameplay.
Yes, and we will meet with our art director, Bartłomiej Gaweł, and our environment artist, Adam Payet.
And we're also going to hear more about the characters and narrative design as well, right?
Yes, and for that we will meet with our writer,
How long is this, chat?
Ariana Sierkiewicz, and our creative
Is this an
director,
hour?
Mateusz Tomaszkiewicz. Take it away, guys.
I thought this was going to be like 15 minutes. Oh, dang. We going in.
Man, look at this place. That would be perfect for the writing team.
45.
Not just for them. I love storytelling myself. Since I can remember telling stories from images is what I love to do.
There's subtitles, so I want to talk about this real quick. So here's the big thing that I'm incredibly concerned about hearing that. Because the idea of a sandbox is that you are, like, for me, one of the things I love about sandboxes is that I'm constantly crafting and building on my story. We're playing Kingdom Come Deliverance right now. I love the fact that we have like these skills that are always going up. Numbers go up. We're constantly getting better gear. We're constantly doing all this stuff. My story is playing through that single playthrough. I don't want to do multiple playthroughs. I want to do everything in my playthrough. So the thing that's very concerning to me is the idea that I could be doing the things I want to do in the game, and this timer could expire. And then all of a sudden, I can't progress anymore. I can't do the things I want to do. I can't do that. Like I'm very curious. Are they going for a roguelike approach with this? Or is the idea that a single player will play the game multiple times to explore it? You know, like but that brings up all these other questions. Like, I almost wouldn't call that a sandbox in some, like Again, it's very early to talk about this because maybe they have some very interesting, cool systems for this. But I have to say, like, there is a world where if they do this wrong, it could ruin the whole game for me, personally. There's a world where if what we just heard was implemented poorly, then I literally might not be interested in, like, half the amount of time I wanted to spend in the game. So I'm very, like, I'm kind of sad that they just kind of put that at the end and glanced over it because, like, honestly, that is the most important thing I've heard so far in this entire thing. So anyway, we're gonna get all this. Those are my thoughts so far, and I cannot wait to get more information because I want to hear what they're gonna do with this. Yeah, they did say sandbox narrative, but
it should come together to marry those two aspects.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm with that. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Spellcasting. It's like the X-Files set in the Middle Ages. all deeply rooted in the history of the Dawnwalker world.
Yeah, and I think it's the way.
Can you please shut up and let us listen? This is being broadcast at twitch.tv/DawnwalkerGame if you'd like for me to shut up and just not be here. So twitch.tv/DawnwalkerGame. Go there if you just want me to shut up. And please do, because I talk a lot at bad times. Okay.
Bustling around. And then as soon as the sun starts setting in and the streets clear, the fog starts setting in, and it becomes a completely transformed, different area, very spooky, almost liminal, cemetery-like space.
And that was also a very early and conscious choice on our part. We wanted the world to be a different place after the sun sets.
Right, so hold on. Environment as is something I understand, right? I do it every day, I understand the creative process behind it, but I've never touched anything to do with character art, which is your speciality. So would you mind walking me through what was your
Dying Light in the Middle Ages?
in
No, I don't
coming
think
up with
so.
That whole thing.
Sure. So we approached the work on vampires very seriously.
I thought
It's
it
a
was
whole
Witcher
new universe.
with vampires,
What's
but now
better is that it's a
don't
mix
know.
of familiar elements with a fresh twist. We all know that vampires are well defined in pop culture and have been around for a long time, so we wanted to create something fresh. So what primarily sets them apart is their teeth. Our vampire teeth keep growing throughout their lives. The older the vampire, the more teeth they have. So instead of two sharp teeth, they have a series
sponsored?
of
No.
needle-like fangs, densely growing from their jaws, often emerging from different parts of their skull as they age. The teeth keep growing because
They're all
the vampire can
Malkavians. I
use
love it.
them to create another vampire. And the mechanism is very simple. The vampire pulls out his fang and drives it into the heart of its victim.
Lovely.
So what's interesting is that our vampire's teeth aren't visible at first. They can extend as the mouth opens, and it looks really creepy.
Yeah, I still remember the first time that the animations came through from the character art team, showing the mouth opening and the teeth growing, and it was absolutely disgusting. I loved every bit of it.
Wasn't Cohh just playing a game where you had 3 days left to do something? Yes, you're talking about Kingdom Come Deliverance, but I had time restrictions inside a sandbox are one thing. Time restrictions on the entire sandbox
when he was working in the
completely
mines
different.
is both a blessing and a curse.
Completely different.
Because on one hand, it weakens him. On the other hand, it protects him from becoming a vampire fully. So
Then you're talking about, like, what was that game? Dead Island or something? That game just caused me stress.
And the world
I couldn't play
of
that
the
game with that.
creatures of
No,
the
it
night.
wasn't Dead Island.
Yeah, well, he was kind of used to
Dead
dealing
Rising.
with the
Thank you.
vampires since it's been like a couple of years since Francis took
That game was
over.
just stressful.
Now he has to find a way to deal with things like undead lurking in ancient tombs that should have remained closed. Kobolds that used to only prey on miners going way too deep into the mines, or even Uriashes, who used to live high up in the mountains, secluded, and now they are in Francis's troops.
Yeah, and they
his
are
artwork
vastly
is
different.
gorgeous.
Oh yeah, they all have their own separate cultures, and well, if you want to deal with them,
I find it weird when
would
devs
kinda
interview devs.
like
I
to
agree.
get-
I've never liked this
get
format
to know
either.
them a bit, or else you might get
It's very, it
tricked
feels very
because
just
They all
contrived.
have their own goals, aspirations. Now that they came out of the shadows in Francis's
I would have
wake.
much rather
It's a
had a
source of a
third
lot of
person
tension,
asking them
right?
questions,
there's a
walking
lot of
along with
tension.
them.
Some of them can cooperate with humans, but mostly it's just new issues, new problems nobody had to deal with before.
But I think this is great because all of that tension, all of these problems are great storytelling material for us, for
Yes.
building all of that content.
What's the other company
For
that did this?
example,
Another company did this in the last year.
Francis, he had to normalize this thing for the humanity, convince everyone this is the new
Can't remember
normal.
who.
Yeah.
And
We've seen
the
this,
way he
like,
did
recently.
this was, first of all, there was a lot of social turmoil, and on the other hand, a lot of deeply held religious beliefs. And he twisted them.
Oh, I haven't seen
He
any
turned
KCD2
himself
stuff.
into
They
this
did?
messianic figure. So, for example, he introduced these blood masses where he feeds a human vampire blood, right? And at the same time, they have these other things like punishing criminals with like draining them dry.
Yeah, but well, some people actually liked it because once Francis came in, he set up a new order of things. He finally got down to business, and then he locked the valley off so that nobody can touch it. No outside outside influence can touch it. And well, some others did not like it so much, and they began to reach into the depths of forgotten magic, occult, stuff like that.
Yeah, so either way you look at it, the Veil Sangora will never be the same again.
Not a chance.
I think the part that's so weird about these is everything they're saying to each other, they both already know, and everyone knows it.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the
there
weird.
are so many things we need to remember to make this into a cohesive whole. And at the same time, you have the challenges posed by the open world itself. Because, you know, there's a risk of the content being formulaic or repetitive. We handcraft all of it, and we focus on telling these unique themes we really care about.
Oh yeah, we want to talk about loss, about the meaning of family, about opposing tyranny, about trying to coexist with creatures you've never had to coexist with before.
Well, but that would be difficult to do with just Coin and Princess, right?
Impossible, actually. We had to create a whole host of characters, and we really wanted to avoid having cardboard cutouts, like without motivations, without backgrounds, goals, and ambitions. But, you know, when you meet those characters, your goals and ambitions may overlap, and you befriend them, or it may be the opposite, and you go on a warpath with them. But, you know, given the goal that you have ahead of you, it might be good to have some friends to go along with.
Well, but you could go on your own, right? If you wanted.
Well, yeah, you could just grab a sword and go storm the castle.
Yeah.
But, you know, it might be wise to, for instance, find the rebel cell and try to dismantle Princess's rule with them. Or, I don't know, listen to what an agent from outside of Veil Sangora has to say.
Which is exactly why I love how we structured the game, because we offer a lot of choice in which characters do you want to interact with, which you might want to skip altogether. And also on top of that, you have this layer of non-linearities where you can decide their fates, but also the fate of Cohh and his family.
Yeah, and I really like that because it gives us so much replayability. You can always choose a different path. There's something else waiting there for you.
Yeah, exactly. And also, on top of that,
there they go again with replayability.
You know, get to find all these secrets of Veil Sangora.
Like, how many times the devs expecting us to play the game?
And, you know, explore the world.
And yet another path might be lurking within that.
Maybe the playthroughs aren't long.
Is all good and well. But on top of that, we also have a number of really cool gameplay systems that further feed into the narrative.
VIP detected. And speaking of feeding, my favorite one is the blood hunger. It lets me play a real vampire. I don't just have to drink blood to use my cool abilities in combat, but if I talk to someone without feeding first, I might just lose control and I might eat them. And it's not going to be just any random peasant that I won't care about. I can eat my best friend, and I will break my heart, and I will break my quests.
Yeah, so you better keep him well fed.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have a fate?
Yeah, I really enjoy the ones that are revolving around Princess, because, like, it makes him this active antagonist. You know, this means that he will basically react to what Cohh is doing.
Yeah, if that kind of stuff can happen, man, I'm starting to think this isn't a sandbox RPG. This is starting to sound like a sandbox roguelike.
Military checkpoints that will be on your way.
It changes the world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think I'm approaching this game wrong.
Also, you know, it's not just him running the show.
This isn't
it's
a Witcher.
Also his three
this is something else.
Vampire allies.
Yeah,
I'm very curious to hear how long they expect their playthrough to be. Because I was thinking it was going to be like 80 plus hours, but maybe it's like 10 to 20 hours.
Yeah, and on top of being cool characters, they also have their own like spheres of influence, and you get to dismantle their organization step by step, making it simpler for you to confront Princess and free your family.
What parts of Sandbox?
When it comes to freeing your family, there's one more antagonist. That is time itself, because every time you do something important in the game, when you complete an objective or you complete a quest, time moves forward.
Yeah, but what I really like about this also is it's not like real time. You actually get to control how much of this resource you want to spend, right?
Yeah, you have to manage it
so it's
wisely,
not,
but if
it's
you
a
just want
resource
to enjoy
in the
view or
game.
just take a stroll, you can, without stress. But once you get down to business, you have to do it smart.
Yeah, so I think all of these things combined, handmade quests and the gameplay systems.
So you could just not do the main quest, and the time doesn't move forward.
I cannot wait to see what shenanigans players will get up to playing with those systems.
But that's really weird because that goes against what they said earlier. Because they said earlier specifically they want you to have a time limit. But you can't have the feeling of a time limit if you decide when the time limit's on.
I want to thank the whole Rebels pack. You are the best, and it's a privilege to work with you. The Blood of Dawnwalker
I want to know so much more about
this.
this.
Special game for us. because it's first truly ours. What you have seen so far is only the beginning. In upcoming months, we will share more.
I'm guessing you're going to be forced to spend the resource.
I have one more surprise for you.
But then how are they going to manage that? God, I have so many questions. I have so many questions. Yeah, they did say every quest completion does it. So... Huh. For those going, this is excellent Witcher music. Yeah, the guy that made the Witcher music is making music for this game. That makes a little bit of sense. Or is that, wait, somebody in chat said that earlier. Is that actually confirmed? Oh, one of the guys that did it. Okay. Okay. Witcher 3 had 2 composers, and this is one of them. Awesome. Thank you. A lot of these devs are ex-CDPR. Yep. Are we going to see gameplay? Yes. They did say there's going to be gameplay at the end. Going to be in just a second, looks like. I like the drum girl. I love the cinematic music shots. How are you not going to show the girls singing? Wait, is it one of them? Oh, there! That's awesome. Maybe it's the same girl, right? God, actually, it might be. That might be. Man, I dig it. It's good music. It's actually pretty great. Oh! Here we go. Is this
Applause,
the first trailer again? No. Okay, that was cool. I swear to God, that was all the gameplay. Okay. Yeah, we need a lot more. All right. Wait. That was it?
And we are back. And wow, do we have a lot to talk about. But first things first, concept arts. I need them as wallpapers like yesterday if you can.
That's okay, I got you covered, no worries.
Well, one of the big things that really matters in this game is that time matters. You're only going to have 30 days.
I think you need to get out of the building.
Well, it is actually 30 days and 30
no, we're
nights.
good.
So as Cohh, your objective is to save your family. But how you do it, when you do it...
Yo, they were super chill about that. Good for them, dude.
All depends on you and your decisions.
Wow. Now, the astute amongst you watching at home...
This presentation could have been an email.
But that is why there was a 30-day and 30-night countdown prior to the stream going live today. Just those little bits of detail, all of the tie-ins, the full Wolf Moon, I love it. It makes me so excited to see what's coming. But the fact that decisions are going to matter in the game, like I can't do everything, right? It's just not going to be possible. Yeah. And not just that, it's the start of a whole saga. It's not just this game. It is an adventure through the ages where you walk the line between our world and its secret, dark underbelly. And of course, while you'll get a complete, satisfying story in this first installment, there will be so much more to unfold in the future titles. It just sounds incredible. Honestly, it's a game I can't wait to play myself, and having got to see that sneak peek, even now, it looks so beautiful. It's in Unreal Engine 5, right? Yes, it is in the Unreal Engine 5 technology. You know, we filled it to the brim with cinematic dialogues and cutscenes. And since we are talking about the tech stuff, I do want to mention one more thing, which is the third-person perspective you could already see. And yes, the game will be in the third-person perspective. To give
Wait, what?
Classic
the gameplay you showed wasn't in the game's perspective?
You're really dropped into the middle of action.
That's exactly how an RPG should be. And one of the things that I learned here...
Was it? I couldn't...
About the game.
It was.
Speaking of classic RPGs...
I'm going to have to watch it again. It was so fast. Maybe I didn't notice.
No microtransactions.
I saw him slide down and then like
there are going to be no NFTs or
zip
any of
over
that
to the guy.
Stuff.
But I thought
It's
that was
just
in
gonna
third.
Be a pure single-player experience, the kind of game that an RPG should be.
That's right. That's right.
Wow. Now, we did.
Yeah, she said the game was in first person,
though, right? Coming in, so I will ask.
Oh, they said it is in first person or third person.
Do we have a release date?
Okay.
Oh,
thank you.
I knew that would happen.
I thought you said it was in first person.
Okay. Well, about the release date.
It's kind of sad. I wish it
We
was.
are not quite ready to announce it just yet, but don't worry. Once we are confident about this, we will let you know, and we will definitely let all of you guys know as well. But in the meantime, join our official social media channels. We will be posting a lot in the upcoming months and giving you even more insight into the universe of Dawnwalker.
Yes, and if you just can't wait for more Dawnwalker content, check out the upcoming issue of PC Gamer as well. It's just a few weeks away, and you're going to hear more about the world and the lore of Dawnwalker in there, so make sure that you don't miss it.
I'm going to ask this again because I think...
With that, we have reached the end of everything we are here to share with you tonight. It has been an absolute privilege to be a part of this.
Oh, thank you so much, Lionheart. Thank you so much to all of you watching us today. We're so happy that we could finally share all these cool things we have been working on with you. And we will meet again this summer to talk more about the Blood of Dawnwalker, this time focusing on the gameplay features and unveiling how it actually plays. Until then...
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, everyone. Stay safe, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit. First of all, man, like I don't know how we get the message to developers that the people that watch these want gameplay. When we see these games, we want to see gameplay. That being said, to bait us through 45 minutes for 17 seconds of gameplay, like, dude, it's not 2015 anymore. Don't do this. Like, just say there's not going to be gameplay. Don't do this. Like, that's not cool. This is a Gotham situation. That's not cool. I don't like that. Like, they should have just said there was not going to be gameplay here, and that would have been okay. Secondly, I have a lot of questions about this. I am not leaving this hyped. I mean, I'm excited about this, but I'm not like excited like, oh man, like KCD2, can't wait to play this. I know I'm going to love it. I'm excited like, this looks like it could be cool, but there might be some deal breakers in here. Like there may be some things in here that make this to where like it's not super my jam, and that's a little concerning. It's a little concerning. like the stuff about the time limits and this kind of like, here's the thing. They mentioned Fallout 2, and I love Fallout 2. One of the things I loved about Fallout 2 was the fact that you could take your time and go everywhere. Like that was one of the things that made me realize, like, I can just live my life in this game. So the idea of a game like that, where I have all of this stuff I want to do, but the only reason I'm not going to be able to do it all is because of an arbitrary timer going down for me to have to do a separate event I may not be interested in. Yeah, dude, like, I don't like that. I don't like that. So, but here's the thing, that may not be what it is. So like, that's why I'm very curious. What I need to do is we need to interview one of these people. That's what we need to do. We need to interview one of these people. I have many questions. We need to, I'm like, I don't know if they've done interviews and maybe they're getting them out now that the reveal's out and stuff, but like, I have lots of questions about this. I want to know, like, how long is this game going to be? Because here's my two big concerns. If this is the kind of thing where I'm supposed to play this game multiple times to see everything, which I probably will want to do, that also means I'm going to be playing a lot of the same content over and over. That's a huge red flag. Like, is the stuff that's different going to be fun enough for me to want to do the same stuff over and over? Like, I don't, like, that's one of the reasons I love giant sandbox games, because I can do everything once. So I don't know if I really like the idea of having this global time limit that's going to restrict how much content I can do. And then once it's up, if there's stuff I want to do that I can't, I have to basically start a new game and do a ton of shit over again to get to it. So I don't know. Like, Bikeman says, no one likes time limits. They are hated more than escort missions. And this brings up the next interesting question. I wonder, just straight up, if these guys are using a time limit to evoke an emotion, but they could have evoked that same emotion in other ways besides a time limit. And I wonder if it's just a giant mistake. Which makes that's, again, I really want to see this implementation, because there are versions of what I heard that would not be fun to play. And I really wish they either would have not talked about this until they could have given us more details, or they could have given us a lot more details. Because like, I almost don't like the fact that there's so much gray area right now, because I literally am going, I might not like this game nearly as much as I thought. And I don't like that feeling. I don't like it, because I like these devs, and I'd like to like this game, but I don't know if I do right now. I should say, it's not that I don't know if I'll like the game. I'm pretty sure this game's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. But like, there's a certain, maybe this is personal, but there's a certain vision I have when I think of games like this. And I'm wondering if this game is going to fit that vision. Maybe it's just going to be something totally different. But if it is going to be totally different, I feel like they should be cluing us into that more than they are. So, I don't know. Leaving with a lot of questions. And it also makes me wonder, maybe they don't have the system nailed down yet. Like maybe they were announcing the system here to see what the public thinks about it. Interesting. Huh. I wonder if the feedback from the reveal will play into the game at all. Like that could be interesting. Because I will say, I definitely brought up the chat of the main stream when they announced that. And I will say that there were definitely a lot of similarities between our chat and the main chat. A lot of people, like right when that time limit stuff started mentioning, there were a lot of people that were like, wait, what? Like, what? What? What do you mean? What do you mean time limit? What do you mean by that? Crazy says, Cohh, how do you know if you like these devs? Just because they were associated with CDPR doesn't mean they were the good ones. That's very true. But I can say that I really like Witcher 3. And I like the team that made Witcher 3 because I like that product. So I will give the benefit of the doubt to people who were members of that team. I will definitely give people a chance that were associated with that project, because that project was great. So, no, I don't know the individual people. Well, I do know some of them, actually. But I don't know all of them, no. But I think that this is a case we can give him a benefit of the doubt. Anyway, I gotta go, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. This is a game we clearly will be following closely because I have so many questions, and this is a good dev team, and like I am very curious about what we're gonna do here. So me and my giant zit are gonna go. I will see you guys later, probably tonight for some big stompy robots. Hope to see you then. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in a little bit. Bye-bye.